Trouble on the Yellow Brick Road. The Tin Woodman guided his new acquaintances through the Ozian forest, and they found a magnificent yellow brick road winding through the heart of the woods. Even against all the evanescent colors of the land of Oz, the bright and majestic road stood out. Alex began skipping as soon as her feet touched it. She couldn't help herself. When in Rome, she told her brother before he could tease her. As they traveled down the most famous path in literature, the land changed drastically around them. The landscape of Oz was even more diverse than the fairy tale world. With every turn, the yellow brick road curved into a different terrain. One minute they were in a thick forest, the next a wide open field. They crossed over streams and rivers, ponds and lakes, farmland and little villages, only to end up in another forest. Mother Goose found the continuously changing land very interesting. Even she had never been someplace so unpredictable. "This place is a hoot," she said. "It's more random than your mood swings, Lester." "Squaw," the large bird replied, as if to say, "How dare you?" Jack and Goldilocks kept a watchful eye on everything they passed. They had never been someplace they had such little knowledge about. They wanted to be prepared at all times, but didn't have the slightest clue of what to be prepared for. Red was more interested in the Tin Woodman than any of the scenery. No matter how long she studied him, she couldn't figure out how he worked. She was half expecting to find an on switch sticking out of his back. "Have you always been a woodman?" she asked. "Oh yes," he answered. "My father was a woodman before me, and his father before him." "Were you all made of tin, or is your family a variety of metals?" Red asked, but then quickly apologized. "Oh, forgive me. I hope that wasn't insensitive. I've never met someone of your element." "No, I'm the only one made of tin," the Tin Woodman said. "But I was a real man once." "Oh, so it's a curse," Red said. "I'm very familiar with curses. My fiancé was cursed to look like a frog. Or at least, he was my fiancé, once upon a time. I'm not sure what to consider him now." "It wasn't a curse, but the result of a spell," the Tin Woodman said. "I fell in love with a beautiful Munchkin girl who agreed to marry me, but she lived with a mean old woman who didn't want to live alone, so she bribed the Wicked Witch of the East to hurt me. She cast a spell on my axe, causing it to slip out of my hand and cut off my limbs one at a time, eventually severing my head and splitting open my body. A local tinsmith rebuilt me one appendage at a time until I was made entirely of tin." Red was very disturbed by his ghastly story. "Why on earth didn't you just get a new axe?" The Tin Woodman went quiet for a moment. "I never thought about it." "And then whatever happened to the Munchkin girl you were going to marry?" Red asked. "I don't know," he said. "The body the tinsmith built me was hollow. I never had a heart to miss her with, so I forgot all about her. I suppose she still lives with a mean old woman." "Trust me, you're better off without a heart," Red said. "I speak from experience. Not having a heart means you'll never have to worry about heartbreak. And believe me, it's awful. But living without a heart means you cannot feel at all," the Tin Woodman said. "It may spare you from grief, or loneliness, or misery, or longing, or fear, but you do not enjoy, or laugh, or excite, or love, and one who cannot love is just an object." Red scrunched her forehead. "But if you can't long for anything, how do you know you want a heart?" she asked. "And if you don't fear, then why were you so scared when the bomb landed on you?" The Tin Woodman went quiet again. He didn't have an answer, but Red was making him think. Connor cleared his throat. "Excuse me, Mr. Woodman," he said, and pulled Red aside to where the Tin Woodman couldn't hear him. "Red, what are you doing? You need to shut up." "Why? This man clearly has a heart. He just doesn't realize it," she said. "Obviously," Connor said, "but he's not supposed to learn that lesson until the end of the story. If he learns that now, we're going to lose our guide." Red crossed her arms and tried to be silent. I have a little bit of a surprise for you.